Hi, this is Tony Nasca with DovNet Software, and we're here to introduce the latest addition to the DovNet suites, specifically TPSMobile Rapid Field Quotes. This is a very exciting module because it allows you to do quotes in the field, both for your technicians and by your salespeople. A little bit of background. The project system is our main product, and it lets you do estimating in the office, generate a proposal, and turn that quote into a job ready for production. And that's exactly what happens with TPSMobile as well. So I'm going to be demonstrating this capability. Now, we're looking at Chrome on a PC, but this could also be a tablet or an iPad, or it could be a phone. So if you're on a phone, it's going to look something like this, where you've got rapid field quotes. Okay? It works on all mobile devices. We haven't found any that it doesn't work with. You also see here we have O quotes. So quotes, these are quotes that have been created, and these are quotes that we're working on our mobile device. So if I click on this, we see here an existing quote. You also notice we can go ahead and go to the customer list and create a quote. If we're on the top menu of TPSMobile, we can also go right to the customer list directly, and we can find our customer here and then start a quote. Now, with TPSMobile, we have a feature called Dummy Customer, where you can take a fictitious customer in our system, like so, and that's under contract or bid, and do a quote, and the system knows that it's a dummy customer. Now, what do I mean by dummy customer? Well, if you're out in the field and you're doing a quote and a customer hasn't said go, you may not necessarily want to add them to your customer list. So this allows you to have multiple quotes in the system and that are not real quotes until the customer says go, and then you could turn them into a real customer. And down in these fields here, you would just fill in the appropriate company name and address and all that good stuff. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and create a quote using an existing customer. So we can come over here and click on this and type Fairfax Hospital like this, click. And there's Fairfax Hospital, and then we can start a quote. Now, on the beginnings of the screen, it captures the company name, the contact, their email address, a phone number, and you can classify the sale. So you can say this is an access control system or fire system or nurse call. And these are user definable. So I'll just say fire system like so, and then we'll give it a title, fire system, and then we'll say add smoke detectors. Smoke detectors. Now, this would be like an example of a technician. They have to repair something or add a battery or whatever it is, and the customer wants a quote. Well, he can come pull up his phone, pull up right over here, and now he's ready to add the materials. So he can very quickly go ahead and say, bring up a part, bring up a part, do Edwards, EDW, like so, and then maybe 2 smoke detectors, SIGA-PS, like so, and then it prompts us for the quantity. We need 2 of those like this, and we hit the save button. There's our first item. Maybe we have 4 hours labor, so we go ahead and do a part number for labor, click over there, and our LBR is our part number designation for labor, and pull tech, and it brings our different labors out here like so, and we'll say 4 hours labor like this. Hit save. And there's our labor. And we may want to put a little description field here, and we can actually push this line down so we can say insert and make a comment line and quick phrase. Thank you for asking the proposal to install 2 smoke detectors, something like that, and hit the save button. Click, and there's a little phrase, and we're ready. We're done with our quote. Of course, this is very simple, but that might be what the technician needs to do. And I go ahead and click on View Send Quote, and it brings up the quote just that fast. And I have a little quote and a PDF. I might mention that you can also include a one-page terms and condition page that can be part of this proposal. Now, if the customer says go, we can click over here and capture the signature. So right here, now we're capturing the customer signature. This can be either the hotspot of their finger touching the right on the phone, or this could be a stylus on a tablet whatever works. And then we can send this out to the customer right here. So we can say it's accepted, customer said accepted. We can put a little note down here, see attached quote for the 2 smokes, something like that. And then we hit send, and the next thing we know, we're sending this quote to the office, to the customer, and then it puts our quote over here on our completed quote list. Now, if I go ahead and bring up my email system and do send receive, the system will bring in the quotes. It's actually creating a couple copies, and I can go ahead and double click on one of these like so, and there's our quote, double click, and there's the attachment for that particular quote. Okay. Now let's go to a bigger scenario. Of course, the bigger scenario would be that we're now a salesman, and we need put a little 4-camera system in with the DVR or something like that, or maybe a small access control system, something that we can easily bring up in our quote system. So I'm going to go back to customer, and I'm going to choose St. Francis Hospital like so. Click on the customer, click, and then I can go ahead and start my quote. We do have the ability to add and edit the customer from the field as well. Click over there, and now this time we're going to classify it as an access control system, and we're going to go ahead and say access control like so, and then we can go ahead and start our quote. Let's save, and now we're in our quote. Now, this time we're going to turn on some additional capabilities. Specifically, we're going to turn on auto estimating. So I click over here on auto estimating, and what that does is it lets us bring in our labor automatically into the quote. We can also set our markup on our quote if we want to change it. Okay, so we've got that now turned on. Now we might do some textual lines. So we might say, thank you for asking DovNet for this proposal to install your access control system, something like that, and hit the save button, click, and maybe we'll do a blank line like so, and then we'll do a terms statement. Click over there. Now we've got scope of work, and you notice we've got several scope of works we've already predetermined. We can click on one of these guys, access control system, and we can modify this quote this terms and condition scope of work right on the phone here or on our device. And last but not least, we'll have one more blank line for layout purposes like so. So there's our top end of our quote. Now we can go ahead and add materials. Now instead of bringing up a single part, we're going to bring up an assembly, a group of items. So we're going to bring up Edwards, like so, and then CM1, which is a control module, click. And notice it's checked assembly, so it knew it was an assembly. And this time when we press the save button here, it's actually going to bring up a list of materials that we can go ahead and check off. And we can say we want a cabinet, we need 2 cabinets, we click over there. And we need an annunciator, we need 2 of those puppies. And we've got here an amplifier, we got some LED and modulator, annunciator module. We'll do this one, we don't need this one. And then we'll do, let's say, 50 strobes and 75 smoke detectors, something like that. And I'm just spitfiring here. But the point is, you can make these selections. These can be predetermined in the field, at the office rather, and then use them in the field. Now I'm purposely leaving off the batteries. So when I click on save, it knows that there are batteries required, and we have to do 2 of these puppies, and we'll say like so. So this is a configuration screen as well as it is, bringing up a list of materials. When we press the save button now, the system dutifully brings all the materials into our quote, just like that. Okay? We can change the margins on these, set the quantities if we want, make changes. All that can be done right from here. Notice the labor, it's out there. Notice there's some time out here, but it hasn't been attributed to any lines. So we need to add another assembly like this. Okay? And that's going to be a labor assembly. LABR is our assembly for labor. And ASS assembly. set a quantity, which is just 1 in this case. And this time it brings up all of our labor. And these ones with little dashes are automatic calculated for us. And then down here we have some manual ones like drafting, engineering, and so forth. So we can set the time for those just by setting the time 4 hours of drafting, and maybe we're going to have some engineering 6 hours, and documentation will be 8 hours, something like that. Okay. And then when we're finished with these guys, we press the save button, click. Okay. And now you see the system has gone ahead and it's calculated the hours for us automatically. And if we come down here, we can see all the time is right down there, already been calculated into our quote, just like that. Okay. And then we're done. We can go ahead and view and send. Click here. And then we can view our quote, just like this. And there's our proposal, just like that. Okay. And if I want, we can have a terms and conditions page, as we said. There's a total at the bottom just because it ran over, because of the length of the document. And we're done. Now, if we can send this to the quote, if the customer hasn't and put this in waiting answers, we can do that. And we can send this quote off to the customer just like this. Okay. Now, if the customer does say go, and we're in the field, we can bring up that quote, click, and we can say accepted quote right here, and then that'll change the status of this quote to accepted. So that's what's happening in the field. Now let's go back and look to see what's going on inside. Now you notice our quotes are sitting here under accepted quotes, and we can go ahead and bring these right up on our system. Double click on here, and here's our quote, and we have here all the materials that we put in our quote, and we have our labor hours down here that's been brought in. So this quote is literally ready for production. So if I wanted to, I could just bring up this material list if I were the project manager, and I could just say, okay, 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 and just that fast, I'm telling the office that this is ready, and this is going to send a message. When I exit this, this is going to send a message to order parts, and then my order parts person can bring that project up just like this and generate purchase orders right from here. And if I were to say auto purchase orders, it could actually go ahead and generate a purchase order, multiple purchase orders, like so. And then it generates the purchase order, allocates materials if we have it in stock. So immediately that quote that was generated into the field can go right into production. So there you go. There's TPSMobile Rapid Field Quotes. Couple other notes that are modules that are coming out soon to come would be we're going to have field change orders, where you can do a change order, get a signature of a change order right on your tablet, right from the customer. We're also going to be adding a capability where the technicians can see their schedule from their phone, and also schedule a quick installation for like that little smoke detector. They can pull the schedule and say, well, I can possibly get there on the 15th and do a tentative schedule. So there you go. TPSMobile Rapid Field Quotes.